Absolutely. We'll see if he can now. We need to start to talk about the draft and get on into this first game. It's 2.9, gentlemen. We've seen a lot of weird stuff last weekend. There was only 3 heroes that weren't played.
Yeah.
What is there an expectation coming into this week? I feel like Rhyme and Crawl are kind of they're like death and taxes in this patch.
I mean, I do think there is an expectation because now teams are settling on what is strong. First weekend, people weren't exactly sure what was strong. Now everyone knows. Alphas, Rhymes, Blackfeathers, those are the things that you can expect from the jungle. We talked about the Doom, we talked about Agony. Those are the heroes to watch out for them.
Yeah, for sure. Rhyme, Blackfeather, Kroll, Jewel, I think is going to make a lot of presence. Arden, the Grace is starting to come back in now. People kind of getting over the shock of the numbers that were reduced. Like, her numbers were hit pretty heavily, but she is still a very strong pick.
Now, let's not forget that Mousesports, when they picked Grace last week, that was for Leon in the lane. That was not a Captain Grace.
And it was such a great game against Escape lane carry, weapon-powered Grace, and they won with it. It could definitely go back there, but I do expect it to be a captain hero here in this draft. However, like you said, it can be flexed.
Yeah, especially with Arden, something like Arden and Catherine still available. Qlash is going to ban the Catherine away just because that is what Mousesports ran last week. And now Mousesports, because of the fact that it was the Catherine ban, they're kind of left with a little bit of a dilemma here because there are multiple powerful picks that are available that they can't really just deny everything away from Qlash.
Right. I mean, for lane, we right now our top 3 laners, I would say in this update, are Blackfeather, Kestrel, and Vox. So Blackfeather is taken off the table. Kestrel is now taken off the table. Will Qlash go with Vox? If they do, Baron is still open. That's one of the most traditional counter picks into the Vox just because you're able to outrange him late game.
We've also started to see some Jewels in the lane as well, and I think Jewel is a very underrated hero right now. She was very strong the last update, even stronger now. Her effective health, as long as you don't show your back to your enemies, is one of the highest in the game at the moment. So very, very strong hero. Would not be surprised if we do start to see her more and more frequently. But it is the Kroll pick that Qlash decided to prioritize. There's still plenty of options for Mousesports. The Alpha is available. You have Reza available in the jungle. So I'm a little bit curious that Qlash didn't try and take away one of the laners, because the laners, I feel like, there aren't as many that are prevalent right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. The laner would have been better to take there so that you're also able to save your last pick as a counter pick for the jungle, especially since Vox is still open. You take Cruel. Vox does really good against Cruel because you're able to kite him away. You most likely will get the Poison Shift unless you go for a Breaking Point TM build. If you have the Poison Shift, you reduce his barrier from his A, you reduce the sustain that comes out from his weakness stacks. So it works really well against the pick. I'm surprised that they picked up Cruel first. Flalfa is still open. They could go for that as an option for the jungle. Works extremely well, especially since CP with the Vox that do different damage sources. They go with the Batiste, however, and we did see a few Batistes last weekend with a Clockwork first build.
Especially, I like the Batiste pick into a Kroll as well, because, again, it just goes back to keeping that Kroll at bay. There's Holy Novas, there's slows from the Grace, a slow from the Vox. Now there's a Fear and an Ordained. There's so many things to keep this Kroll away from their carries and just make him have a miserable time.
And that's become even stronger on 2.9 because of the way that Clockwork was changed. Ordained is so much more of a shorter cooldown if you can land those mojos. So Kroll is going to have a really awkward time trying to get onto this Batiste.
He really will have a really awkward time, especially, like you said, if he goes for the Clockwork, he's going to have multiple Fearsome Shades in a team fight as well. Gwen comes out as a laner. She's not the strongest in this current update, but she has the CC, Skedaddle, the ability to escape CC.
Absolutely. Also, this is one of the 2 picks that we know Massili's for.
Yeah, and this is also a pick that could go Weapon or Crystal. I think Crystal Gwen, this update is actually incredibly strong. Buckshot Bonanza is already on a fairly low cooldown, and if you can just build up your Crystal power, get that Dragon Tide, you constantly are able to harass and just chunk the entire enemy team, especially with the lineup that they have. Like, there's not a ton of health on the side of Mousesports. This Buckshot could do some serious work.
All right, let's talk about these compositions overall then. How are we expecting this game to start off? Who's going to be on the front foot to begin?
I think it's most likely going to be Mousesports, especially if Gwen does go as a CP hero. Her late game is strong, but her early game is not the strongest. Cruel will probably try to play aggressive, possibly he has the ability to, but the Vox and the Baptiste, they can definitely shut him down. If it goes up against the CP Gwen, it's going to be hard for them to execute because they also don't have a lot of engage on the Gwen. But if it goes weapon power, I expect the Vox and Cruel to do, or the Vox and Baptiste to do a lot of work.
All right, we'll see if that is going to be the case. I'm really curious as to whether this does end up being a Crystal Power Gwen. Also, really curious to see how well the Baptiste does as a Baptiste one-trick myself. I want to see how I should be playing it in solo queue. This should be an exciting match to start things off. But it's about time that we get on into this one. Don't forget to let us know who you are supporting at home as well. Use that hashtag Vainglory8 and let us know whether you want Mousesports to make it to the semi-finals this week or if you want Qlash to find the upset and get some points on the board. Get in touch on Twitter. But it's about time that we jump on into our first semi-final or our first quarterfinal, sorry, of Europe. Pass it over to our casters.
Well, thank you very much, Munchables. That's right. We've got Mousesports versus Team Qlash. I'm Humanist, and I'm here with Sean Ostino. This is going to be a lot of fun. Sean, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling well. Just had my first boy, baby Vox, born, so I'm excited to see him here in the first game today with Mousesports and Qlash. Going to be exciting.
Hashtag blessed. I think would be the case, but it's gonna be really exciting. Mousesports did incredible last week. Qlash, kind of struggling a little bit, but we'll see if they can find their footing here early on.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing the typical. We see both the carries doing some rotations here through the jungles, getting that extra experience already, which is what we've been seeing here a lot in the past couple of updates, and. Looks like we see them starting as usual. No one's hitting that Elder Treant quite yet, but the captains are poking out. So we're gonna be seeing them probably head back. It looks like we do see them heading back to pick up some extra items. Agni just did pick up some weapon blades, so we do have a crystal bit on this Gwen here. Looks like she is going to be going crystal power, and we're going to be seeing a lot of burst damage coming out of her as well. That's going to be good, especially with Clockwork. This
right.
Patch getting a pretty good buff, adding CP power to it. That's going to really help her out in her build.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty crazy. I do love the CP Gwen. It's a lot of fun if it can come online here. Disown's trying to contest that Elder Treant there. Not going to go his way, but he can kind of hang out as Leon and Justman plow through the jungle. Looks like it's going to be kind of quiet across the map early on here until we get a couple levels, and then we'll probably look for those ganks. One of the things I'm looking at here is Gwen seems like just a great tool against the Baptiste. It's going to be really hard to lock her down.
Yeah, she does have the skedaddle that can really easily get her out of those ordains. Looks like we have a little bit of a gank here from Agony.
Yeah, Agony's like going hard on I'm the Doom. Holding Nova off the mark here. Mercedes just hangs out. Jan moves up. Ordain down onto Disown. He dropped the sigil. Agony right back in looking for a target. Healing flask from Just Man is out. Agony moves forward. He's on the surfboard. Dead Man's Rush. He's got his own healing flask. He's in there. He's got the boots. One more attack. He's got his first blood. They trade 1 for 1. And EU off to a good start here in week 2.
Yeah, that was overall a net worth gain for Qlash. It looked like, because it did get that first blood. However, he did dive under the turret there, super low. It actually looks like Leon's going pretty low now. He's running from disowned.
Yeah, but he can just reap disowned and get a little bit of health back. He's not going to. Agony makes his way back out onto the map, but actually could be interesting as you got 2 heroes that are kind of low, and they're going to fight over this Elder Treant. Sean, I don't know if they should be doing this. The root comes out here. Agony's going to be able to get that healing and the camp, of course. Now moving forward, Justman starting to get some of these Spectral Smite stacks applied to him. He'll go ahead and try to move himself out, getting onto that forward camp. But Agony is in hot pursuit. He does not have his boots, but he continues to chase. 2 seconds for Dead Man's Rush. He's going to go ahead and just pull off the target here.
Yeah, it looks like he is. And we do see Agony actually... He's picked up a couple of items here. He's working towards a tension bow, it looks like. Gonna get some of that extra Pierce down. And Pierce is really important here in 2.9.1 since we do have lower armor numbers and shielding numbers on our heroes. But that armor breaker on Pierce is gonna be really devastating once he's able to build that. And it's a really good assassin-style build for this Cruel. We do have that Heavy Prism and Eclipse Prism picked up for Mercedes. Likely going to be working towards a Shatter Glass to get that heavy burst damage. But then again, it could because of the new items that we have, it really could build into a lot of other things here in the CP tree.
It really could. I'm excited to see what he does, you know? Probably, like you said, Shatterglass. He's got a battery there just to help him help himself just sustain in the lane to just continue pumping out the damage here with these buck shots. I'm really curious, though, to see how it works out. I guess one of the things with Gwen as well, like, you have to kind of use the buckshot to help you last hitting. You don't have that natural last hitting ability as easily.
Yeah, that's true. She does have that boomstick heroic perk built into her kit, so if she does wait for a few seconds, she's able to get that up and do a little bit of extra burst damage as well. We usually do see attention bow built on weapon powered Gwens, but with well, it looks like there's engaged.
He's on to Leon. Leon with the healing flask. The bulwark down as Just Man moved forward. The Ordained comes out onto Agony. He's going to hang out on the edge. Gets himself back there. Flare is coming out from Mouse. They're not going to be caught by surprise. And looks like with Agony hanging out, they don't really want to play games, but they're going to move forward now. I'm the Doom kind of left to his own devices. Agony, he's going to move deeper into the jungle. He has his ultimate. He moves in on to Leon. Dead Man's Rush. The Ordained is down. He's stunned up. Agony, he's in a tough place. Hops on his surfboard one more time to get out of here. Bulwark's down. Disown trying to slow up Mouse. Mouse on the run. Fearsome Shade, the wait for it, comes down over the top. Buckshot trying to slow him down. Imperial Sigil onto 3. They've got the movement speed, the healing. Can Qlash get out of here? Agony even stops for his own middle camp there. Gets the healing out of it. So a really nice retreat from Qlash.
Yeah, that was a really nice engage. I liked how Disowned actually used a lot of the tools in his kit as this Lyra. He was able to throw down that bulwark, throw down those Imperial Sigils, get them really good movement speed increases, and they were able to just continue to retreat and fall into their own jungle under the protection of the Sentry. Really well done there. Looks like we do have a Poison Shiv picked up for I'm the Doom. It's going to allow him to sustain a little bit better. A lot of tier 3 items coming out. We don't see a fountain yet on Disowned, however. Well, that's usually because we do like to see... we've seen a lot of Lyra's actually just pick up base health items, and that's going to allow her to scale with that healing on the Imperial Sigil. She did just pick up... Disowned did just pick up a Crucible, so that's going to help them with some of those blocks, perhaps with those Ordains and Fearsome Shades. And
right.
Yeah, and then he's just going to continue to heal him up pretty well with that base health with the Imperial Sigil.
Well, I think we saw like the Fearsome Shade and the Wait For It come through. 2 great things that the Crucible can be used for. Agony also got his own reflex block, and I imagine he's going to be using that for like the Ordained or Holy Nova, of which he has been caught by both abilities a few times. And it's actually, when you think about how the Kroll wants to move through this fight, they have a lot of ways to lock him down there.
Yeah, they do. Let's take a look at Mercilius. He does actually have that Shatterglass that we were talking about. It looks like he's working towards Clockwork, and there's a little bit of an engage.
I'm gonna move forward. Agony pokes on the Just Man, hanging out, just throwing his recall there in the brush. He's empowered. He's just waiting for an opportunity. He has the ultimate. We'll see if he wants to boomerang this one and follow through. You have 2 really great stuns there, Just Man. Buckshot comes out, Agony, he's locked onto Just Man, but they turn it around to wait for it, blocked off. Ace Society comes back, lands onto I'm the Doom, Agony onto Just Man. Nice Fearsome Shade onto 3, now Leon's on the chase. He smells blood, but can they find the damage? They don't want to dive under the turret, I don't think just yet. Look at these guys, the team's just trading blows here, but nobody goes down on the backside of it here. Lyra should be able to heal up her team, controls out Agony there. Well, activated immediately, turret, pulled aggro. Look like Mouse are going to just go ahead and pull off for this one.
Yeah, overall that was a really good trade, Humanist, for Mouse, because they pushed up so far under the turret, and look at all the damage that they put down on it. It's down to about 1/3 of its health, maybe even 1/4. And Mouse is just... Oh!
Leon found Agony. That's what happened there.
Yeah, they rotated down so far into the jungle that they were able to catch him out, which was really great. And now that they have... they're working on this gold miner now. Disown's going down to half health.
Disown dropping low. Benediction in onto Mercilius. Mercilius has AoE and range damage if he wants to try and apply it. Just Man dropping low, but I'm the Doom. He's onto Disown. Sonic Zoom forward. He's going to go ahead and move back as Leon's still on the gold miner. They want to secure this. It's going to be no contest. Okay, nice move by Mouse. Collected.
Yeah, really nice move. And now they're actually ahead just a wee bit, about 300 gold, 400 gold in the lead. For Mouse, but you saw there the aggression that was coming out of Mouse Humanist. They just pushed up so far into that turret. The sustain from coming out of this Baptiste that Leon has is just so unreal. He was so healthy in that fight, and the trades were really, really good for the side of Mousesports. His energy is a little bit low, even though he has that energy battery, so he might want to work on something, an item, maybe even a clockwork, or get himself a void battery at least to help with that energy sustain.
More fighting in the jungle. Agony's on to Leon. Leon, another healing flask. He gets to the Divine Intervention as he moves back. Otherwise, that would have been Agony finding kill. Now they're on to Justman. Look at that big buckshot. Canceled off with a fearsome shade to move back. The Aces High lands on to Justman. Justman will go down to Agony. Finds the last hit. Now Leon moves forward. Feel like they might have the control. The Ordained down. Reflex block. They move in. Dead Man's Rush. He's on to Leon. Where's the follow-through damage? Buckshot. They've got the kill coming through with the Spectral Smite. Agony finds 2 there. Now, what is the play? What is the play? Qlash moving deep into Mouse's jungle, and they're looking really strong right now.
Yeah, that was a really good engagement. We do see that the Aegis was actually burnt by Agony, so that helped him out in that last team fight to get through that Ordain and just continue to aggress on Leon. And he didn't give up. He was able to take him out, and now we see 3-2 for the side of Qlash with their kills, and they've just about evened up the gold. That was a really good trade for them because they were actually playing from behind.
Yeah, that was incredibly good. Now, it does feel like Mouse are going to try and apply some pressure here. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to take this turret out, although Agony's moved up into the lane again. Mercilli's buckshot's starting to land. Ordained is out onto Agony. What's the play? Benediction in onto the back line of Qlash, but this is Agony onto I'm the Doom. A lot of Spectral Smite stacks going up. Mercilli's, though, he's trading with Leon. They're both dropping low. Leon will get the Divine Intervention. He switches back to Agony. Agony dropping low as well. Look at the sustain coming out of these teams. The Fountain perfect from Disown to keep his ally alive. Now Disown walks back as the last member of Team Qlash to be able to take any of that damage. And as we kind of predicted, their turret goes down. There's not much Qlash could do.
No, there's not much they could do. That was a really good trade from them. It looks like Qlash still wants a fight.
Okay, there's something they could do. I was wrong. The Arcing Passage in, but do you want to fight? Did you want to not fight? They take the Arcing Passage through. They're able to find a kill on the Justman. Now, I'm the Doom's chances ground, but Agony's got the kill. They traded it back. Leon finds one himself. Now chases on to Disown. And Disown, he's going to take the little juke down. Leon, you got juked, bud. Disown, he's got the Imperial Sigil. What are you going to do? You're going to hang around here? He's baiting him into the Crystal Sentry. He's dropping low. And Mercilli's went ahead and recalled back. So if he had been able to drop down, maybe they find a kill there. Good job.
Yeah, good juke right there. And what's actually interesting, too, about Lyra this patch is she did get a buff on her Principal Arcanum. She was able to do some pretty good damage with that. The CP ratios have gone up, and the range has gone up too, so that makes her actually viable if you ever want to take her going the CP route. But still, it makes her a little bit of a threat as a captain, and it's able to do some serious work here. We do see Mercilli's has picked up that clockwork that we were talking about. He has a Shattered Glass from earlier, and he also has a Broken Myth. So that's going to allow him to do some really good work piercing the shielding that we have coming out on Leon and I'm the Doom. They know that Mercilli's is a threat right now from the backline, but see, the thing with a Cruel in a composition along with somebody on the backline, a ranged hero, is you gotta focus one or the other, right? So if you focus Mercilli's, then we're gonna have Agony in your face. And then if you focus Agony, he's just gonna put weakness stacks on you, and you've got to be really careful about kiting backwards from him.
It's all that balance of like kiting and then collapsing back, right?
Exactly.
Nice Holy Nova coming out here. Justman making the plays. Wait for it, comes through as well. Justman taking a lot of damage to the turnaround. Aces High onto Justman, lands. Agony dropping low, standing his ground. He's on to Leon. Leon trying to find the damage with the bad mojo. Ordained down one more time. The reflex at the last second, not enough as Agony will go down. Disown probably go down as well, with the Arcane Passage and Boots able to get him out of there. He'll throw the sigil back towards Mercilli's. Mercilli's dropping Mouse low. Yeah, he's set up maybe for a god play here with that big buckshot AoE damage, and he's in a good place right now, but he's gonna go ahead and show mercy on them.
Yeah, that was a very interesting dynamic that was happening, because we actually saw Mouse coming in and they were going into that perfect cone shape where the buckshot comes out, and if he was just doing a little bit more damage as this Gwen, he could have actually finished him off.
Dude, they should play games right now. They should get in there. Mercilli's. He's got the buckshot damage coming out. Leon trying to tank for his team. I'm the Doom is there. The Bright Bulwark's down, Fearsome Shade misses. Oh, but he's actually was able to get the gold mine, but Agony's here now. What's the play? Has Mouse overstepped himself? The Holy Note from Justman. They actually able to get Merciless. They burst him down. They traded back. They take Leon. Now Qlash on the run. A double kill coming out for Agony. He's looking for 3. I'm the Doom. A Sonic Zoom coming up. Doesn't have boots now. And Agony is on target. Vox starting to stack up on his Breaking Point Crystal Century, trying to help his buddy. I'm the Doom is going to get... Oh, I'm the Doom!
The juke!
Oh, best wall jump EU! Make a new name. Disowned almost took him out with the Imperial Sigil. Oh, I'm the Doom! He's so good. What a play.
Oh, that was just beautiful. Another interesting thing that we actually saw during that fight, even though it overall, it actually, Team Qlash came out on top of that fight, clearly. But we did see I'm the Doom pick up he picked up a Tyrant's Monocle in the middle of that fight, and as it was tapering off, that's where he was able to do some more of those critical strikes. That probably allowed him to survive a little bit better, and as he was able to kite back, just the juking was really well done by him. We have some Crystal Infusions being picked up by Leon, sitting in his pocket there. He's still burning out that level 11 infusion, but it looks like Mouse is going to want to fight here pretty soon, Humanist. We see an infusion burning out as well for Merciless. So if he's going to want to do some more CP damage on this Gwen, he's going to have to pick another one up.
Well, I'm excited. What does he go? Dragon's Eye is the next item. Probably makes sense.
Yeah, if you want Dragon's Eye, that would be really good with stacking up. And we actually see the that Dragon's Eye actually outperforms.
How is there moving around the
What
back
is this?
side?
This is sneaky.
This is a very sneaky. The Mouse. No, they're not going to find a target here, so...
Spellfire picked up by Merciless. That's going to allow some really good burst damage, and that actually... Oh, there's the
See how it
engage.
plays out for them. Cotton Bright Bulwark's down. They got a kite back here. Agony's on the front line. Fearsome Shade blocked off by Merciless. Disowned was caught by that. Leon's trying to get on Merciless. Merciless kiting back. I'm the Doom. Merciless playing the game of kites right now. Well, Leon trades with Agony. Agony back on the surfboard. They need to get back and retreat. Shadows have empowered him. They lose Merciless. Now Agony has to stand his ground, make some sort of hero play. It's not enough. Mouse have found 2. And they're going to blow this game wide open here in the end. Oh, the Fearsome Shade over the wall with the Arcane Passage to juke it out. Leon takes a wild ride through. Ordained is down. He's under the turret. He doesn't care. He's a don't care crow.
Don't care, Crow. Oh, man. It's a really funny dynamic that we see here in between the Lyra and Baptiste right now, because Baptiste can really chunk people down with the damage from his empowered bad mojos, but Lyra's got such sustain, so if she's by herself and she's able to just heal herself up and get away from these Ordains, look at that. She's just able to heal herself up so much, so she's just going to go ahead and back out into the jungle. Disown, half health, able to survive the situation, and the Kraken taken by Mousesports.
Kraken taken by Mousesports. Mouse looking good here in game 1. 17 minutes in, 7-7 net worth. A small advantage to Mouse. Team Qlash still definitely in this game. They need to go to work here. Sean, how do they approach this situation?
Well, I feel like we've got to have Qlash actually chain their CC in order to prevent Mouse from coming in here. But there's the engage. Merciless.
Deep benediction, and they block off the Fearsome Shade, but wait for it. Comes down over the top side. It hits. Turret has aggro. Justman dropping low. Agony trying to get on to take out the Captain of Mouse, and he's done it. Now it's 2 versus 3. The buckshot lands onto 2. Agony takes down I'm the Doom. Now Leon left to his own devices. He should go down. A triple kill for Agony comes through. And this is just money in your 401k if they're going to take this Kraken down. All the team getting some juicy money here, Sean.
Juicy money. We've seen so many teams get the Kraken on the leash, and they still aren't able to play effectively with her. And Mousesports is such a great team. They're able to show such great aggression, but I feel like they just overstayed or played too far forward right there. We had, if you're having Agony on this Cruel get in your face when you have the Kraken on the leash, then that is just way too far forward here. And it looks like this tier 2 turret is going down for Qlash, and they're going to go ahead and play the smart game and retreat now.
Play this smart game. I thought we were playing Vainglory here.
Vainglory is a smart game, Humanist.
Oh.
Yeah.
What I've been doing wrong, maybe, this whole time. It all makes sense.
Atlas Pauldron and Halcyon characters picked up. It looks like we got Flare Gun 2, another Atlas Pauldron. We've got double Atlas Pauldrons here. They really want to slow down this Vox and prevent him from ramping up his damage very quickly. This is gonna... It still could go either way right now, Humanist. We have 3 turrets apiece for both of these teams. 7 to 10 right now, actually favoring Team Qlash. It's looking very interesting. We also have a Poison Shiv that's come out for Agony. Infusion's picked up across the board for a lot of these players now. That Poison Shiv's going to allow Agony to sustain even more than he already is on this group.
Oh, even more sustain! It makes me smile. Benediction and Just Man. Do you know you're going up against the CP Gwen here? Ward treads in, but look at the slow, bright bulwark as well. The disengage, clean disengage. Another buckshot comes through, but the wait for it over the top. 3-man silence. Team Qlash are all silence. Just Man jumps in with Leon. They want Mercedes. Mercedes kites back with the skedaddle. Crucible comes out for his team. Divine Intervention actually onto the box there. Just Man's low. They turn. Can they take Just Man down? The second Divine Intervention keeps him alive, but not long enough as he falls. Agony will go down here to I'm Doom, and now the chase is on. Arcane Passage disowned. Did you just leave Mercedes in the jungle to his own devices? No! They lose the CP Gwen, and now Disowned is left by himself here. Mouse, a clean win in this fight.
Oh, the target focus was just so off, I feel, there for Team Qlash. But we did have Just Man go down. But you don't want to take down just the captain. Sure, we have this Grace doing a lot of work, reducing the damage with those Holy Shields, healing up with those Divine Interventions, but we've got to see target prioritization on the 2 carries. We've got to be... They got Atlas Pauldrons. They've got to use the Atlas Pauldrons on this Vox. If they're not able to do that effectively and target the Vox and then target Baptiste afterwards, we're going to see exactly what we did in that last fight. Oh man, Infusions picked up across the board again. Looks like they're going to be looking to fight around the Kraken. Whoever wins War Treads is actually picked up by Baptiste. We've been seeing War Treads used a lot, Humanist, and they've been popping those things and engaging. Mousesports has been utilizing that very well to just engage in these team fights, and it looks like they're going to be looking for a fight here, hanging out in the tri-bush. They could force the Kraken right now and get another team fight out of this. If whoever wins the next team fight could certainly push a lot of turrets. If Mouse Esports wins this next team fight, I feel like they're going to be... Mousesports finishes the game.
You got it, bud. Wait for it. Comes through. It's going to silence up Disowned on the backside, but the buckshot and the kiting backwards from Qlash does look pretty good here. Ordained is out. That's gone too far from Hell's Heart. Connects. Another Fearsome Shade comes out. The wait for it as well. And now they've been completely disrupted. Mouse have broken the engagement here. Or the disengagement, whatever it was. The Regoose. Either way, Team Qlash are falling. And Mouse look like they're going to secure this game very shortly here. They just blew this fight wide open. That looked too easy.
The collapse, the focus coming out of Mousesports is just indomitable. You can't deal with them right now. It looks like they're just going to finish it right now. The death timers are still really high. We're at 21 minutes in, Humanist.
That damage is not impressive, though, Sean.
It's not, but they have nothing to worry about. Look, there's still 18 seconds, well, 10 seconds at the very least for Mercedes. They're going to be able to take this game.
Oh, man. When you wish you could stack your breaking point off of the turrets. Anyway, doesn't matter. Mouse got it, as you called out there, my wonderful color caster / new dad. Man, feeling good here. Vox gets the win. Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed for Vox. I'm going to tell my boy that he was able to win the very first game I cast after we brought him home. It looks like this CP Gwen didn't impress too much here. She only got 2 kills with that Spellfire. But yeah, we saw a lot of kills coming out of Vox from I'm the Doom, and I'm excited for game number 2 here.
I'm excited for game number 2 as well. As you called, the CP Gwen didn't find the success. Felt like it had a lot of the tools to make things work here. Agony did his best. Mercedes looked good. I mean, obviously, it's kind of a weird thing happening without having Hell's Devil in there. And they've had some interesting roster instabilities moving through week 1 and week 2 here. We'll see what happens moving forward, though. On the flip side, Leon playing very good for his team. Sean, was there anything large defining factor of what you think caused Mouse to just swing it so hard here at the end?
Yeah, I feel like yeah, there was a lot of war treads and engage and disengage, and that's what really helped Mousesports take this game.
Well, we'll see if the analysts do agree. Munchables, go ahead and take it away.
We said I'm the Doom was the guy to watch. 7-2-4 on his Vox. An incredible job in basically winning that final team fight by himself. So diving straight onto the backline. I love it when we see aggressive Vox players like that. Let's break down that game a little bit, guys. What was the general feel of that? Because that was way closer than I was expecting coming in.
Yeah, it was definitely the two teams on paper don't look like they match up that well against each other, but Qlash was able to bring the fight to Mousesports. The CP Gwen, the end KDA doesn't look that great, but was able to put out some pretty solid damage in the mid to late game period.
Yeah, I actually think it was the cruel early game aggression that was able to be applied because Rhyme wasn't available, Blackfeather wasn't available. Cruel as a jungler is one of the most dominant junglers. Obviously, we've known this for multiple updates now, multiple metas, and because he didn't have a counter matchup to go up against, it was only the Baptiste. You saw how much early aggression he was able to put on. But once the Baptiste and the Vox killed a little bit, there wasn't a lot that he could do. The Gwen, while she does so much in theory, in practice, she always falls a little too short, and her damage is a little too far split to make it work.
There's also the fact that, like Sean was saying, the ward treads coming out from Mousesports, the movement speed, that's another reason why early on, all of the deaths, the first 4 to 5 deaths of the game were all on this Krull because they just couldn't get to the back line. They didn't have the movement speed to get past the slows that were coming out from the Lyra, from the Gwen.
Yep.
But then once the boots came online, all of a sudden, that was when they were able to start getting these kills onto the Gwen.
Absolutely. Let's start to take a look at some of the moments from that game, starting at around 60 minutes, because this is a very close one. We had a lot of late game team fights. Let's jump straight on into those.
And again, in this one, you can see this is where they're able to find the damage onto Mercedes. He's a little bit too far forward in a vulnerable spot, and the team just doesn't have the ability to be standing toe-to-toe. This is a composition that needs to poke if they're going to be able to win team fights.
Yeah, they needed to poke for a very long time also, just because, again, Gwen's damage is actually not the most impressive in practice, just because her cooldown is a little bit longer. She only does damage through her buckshot, which has a 5-second cooldown on max level. With the clockwork, it goes down to a little bit around 4. And the clockwork is another thing that we can talk about, because why it's so strong in 2.9 is because of the new change that's been added to it, the passive. You need to spam abilities to reduce the cooldown of your longer standing abilities. Gwen doesn't have a short cooldown ability to spam, it's just the buckshot, which, as I said, is a 4-second, so you don't make the greatest use of the new clockwork.
And the thing is, 4 seconds sounds like it's not much time, but in the space of a team fight, if that team fight lasts 20 seconds, that's only 5 buckshots. That's not that, like, when you compare that to something like a Baptiste. Let's take a look at the next fight, because this is where the CP Gwen really came into its own, and Agony got a triple kill.
Yeah, and again, this is where they're able to stay back. Look at how far away from this fight Mercedes is, just hanging on the back lines, throwing out these buckshots. This is where you can put in some work. Also, the turrets helping out. Mouse maybe being a little bit overzealous in trying to find these kills, trying to find this team fight. Mercedes, we were talking about it on the desk with the clockwork. You do need to get the cooldown in the build somewhere, but maybe an aftershock starts to become a really good option. The extra cooldown provides, plus again, the percent health can be so strong, especially against someone like, when you have the Grace who's going to be providing that healing, the aftershock can just chunk that health right back down.
Yeah. I mean, overzealous was the case. Mousesports went in and dove a little bit too far, just because when you have a composition that needs to get on top of the Gwen, you need to dive, right? But under 2 turrets, that's going to be so hard to execute. So they got a little bit overzealous with the Kraken push, and they took an unfavorable team fight.
Absolutely, and that was kind of the last team fight that Qlash managed to get for themselves. Take a look at the next one that happened around 19 minutes in the game, and this was once Mouse had started to regain control.
Right, Mouse started to regain the control, but it's the aftershock, not the aftershock, the ward treads and the initiations on the Gwen that we saw. Grace closed the gap, then Vox continued. They pushed the Gwen so far away, now they're able to turn back, and that's the great target focus that we saw coming from Mousesports. And at this point, 20 stacks on Vox, the breaking point had ramped up, so no matter what, Mousesports will come out on top. So it's the idea of, we've seen this multiple times with hyper carry compositions that have one very strong backline carry. If you are able to push that carry too far away from his team, you can just turn back and focus the front line, and that's another way to win the team fight. You don't have to kill that carry.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the final replay as well, which was the end of the game. This is Mouse just finishing things off and tying a bow on this first game of the series. It was not a neat bow, but they did manage to take it in the end. We should be able to have a replay of that. And look at how aggressive Doom is on this Vox during the fight.
Yeah, they're going in very deep. And again, when you're able to push Mercedes away, even though there is some nice range on the buckshot, you're still not able to be as involved in a team fight as you would like to be. Goes down extremely quickly as well if you're able to actually get onto the target. You know, while we're talking a lot about this Gwen, I want to say Mercedes did do about 58,000 damage this game, which is not a not a bad number. That's where you want to be as a carry. The downside of it is that that's getting split up amongst all 3 targets, whereas typically a carry that gets around the 50 to 60,000 damage is focusing on one target most of the time in these fights. So, you know, the damage is there. It's not a pick that is just it's not like, oh, you're gonna lose if you make this pick. It's not in as bad of a spot as something like a Glaive right now, but it's just when you pick it up, it needs to be in a right composition. You need to have a composition that can protect the Gwen effectively, but also be able to like
finish those targets
from the fight.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about Mousesports because the execution was almost flawless going into the later game stage or later stages of the game. In the early game, I think they could have played a lot more aggressive because CP Gwen's one of her weaknesses is her weak early game. That could have been abused a lot better by Mousesports. But come team fights, they did a great job in just engaging and using the fearsome shades to fear away the enemies and then run at them and deal a lot of damage while they were CC'd. You don't see teams utilizing that very well. Mousesports did a great job.
Now, I have to say, I wasn't that convinced by the CP Gwen. I don't feel like it was that... I think it was influential in this game, but I feel like other carries could have done a better job. Are we expecting to see this pick come into this next draft? Is this something that we expect to be a pocket pick, or was it just kind of an ace up the sleeve kind of deal?
I think it was a let's see how it's going to work in this situation. I don't think it's going to be a pick that's going to be seen all the time. I think it is a pick that can come out if given the right circumstances. You know, if a team has a rushdown composition, it works well against the rushdown if you have other heroes that complement it as well. I think the Krull in this situation actually doesn't really work that well with the Gwen because you need that AoE slowdown. You need to be able to prevent the opposing team from diving, and that was what happened. Mousesports got the boots, got the movement speed, and were suddenly able to dive again. But this feels like a mistake. Leaving the Black Feather open, obviously Mousesports are going to be feeling confident, but Black Feather's just so strong this update.
He really is so strong. You can play him both weapon power, you can play him CB, you can play him in the jungle, you can play him in lane, and in every different scenario you can make him work very well. If Mousesports pick up Vox here, then I would be a little bit better. I would be feeling better for them because Vox does work well against the Black Feather, especially if he goes weapon power. And at the same time, you would think they must have a strategy here prepared for that Black Feather since they let it through.
Also, Doom just played Vox last game as well and did an exceptional job on it. So I would love to see that once again. It feels like specific heroes go in different roles, right? Like we saw Leon going in the jungle with Doom on Vox. We saw Doom on the Baron last week. So maybe those two carries specifically, it's Doom in the lane.
Well, we've actually seen all 3 members of Mousesports play Vox in the lane now.
Yep.
The Justman, Leon, and I'm the Doom have now all played Vox in the lane, so they have that flexibility available. A Samuel pick, though.
Now, we have a Samuel locked in. Not only is this something we've barely seen on 2.9, but also this is kind of Agony's signature hero as well coming on through.
Yeah, I think it's a takeaway from Qlash, just because it also synergizes very well with the Black Feather. They chose to play it in lane. But not only that, I actually you can expect them to flex the Samuel if they wanted to. You can still play it in lane. We know Mousesports how flexible they are in draft. They strive to be unexpectable, and for Qlash to not see that coming is very common. So Mousesports could still use the Samuel in lane.
Certainly could. I'm curious to see how Qlash are going to round out this composition, whether that Black Feather does go into the jungle or whether it goes into the lane. Obviously, Kestrel banned away. That's been one of the high priority picks. What are we expecting Qlash to finish this composition out with?
I don't know if there really is an expectation for where they're necessarily going to go. There's a lot of options. You can go many different directions because Black Feather is flexible, can be in the lane or the jungle. You know, we could see them try and run a double heal, but they're instead going to put the Vox here, which likely means this will be a Crystal Black Feather, which feels like then they're trying to go poke for poke against a Samuel, and Samuel's going to win a poke war 9 times out of 10 against a Black Feather. The Lyra is the one thing that kind of could swing that poke battle back in the favor of Qlash, but it's a risky situation to get yourself into a poke war here because Mousesports, they could still go for another poke-oriented hero for their third pick as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. The Lyra is going to be huge for Qlash if they do decide to go for a poke war, because of the sustain coming out from her. She can help them survive for longer. I like this coming out from Mousesports though. The weapon power Aegis is what I'm expecting to come through in the lane with the CP Samuel in the jungle, and this is going to create an initiation and engage comp against the poke comp that's coming from Qlash that has very squishy heroes. They don't have a front line, so when Idris is going to go in and Samuel is going to follow from the back line, there won't be anyone who can stand in front of Samuel to block his damage just because they're all squishy. So I expect this to work really well for Mousesports, especially with the Ardent Gauntlets coming in.
Yeah, and once you get to those team fights, it's going to be all about kiting back with the Vox. But Black Feather is not something you really want to kite back with. And Samuel is someone that loves to chase a team that is trying to kite back.
Yeah, this feels like advantages towards Mousesports almost across the board with the Idris pick to round out their composition. I love that pick. I love what it does for their composition and the way it matches up against what Qlash is trying to do in themselves.
All right, so what is the play for Qlash then? How do you go into this composition? What is the playbook going to look like?
Honestly, if they don't fall behind early game, if they wait for Blackfeather to get to his level 8 and then try to siege, and perhaps get a kill, perhaps get a turret with Lyra's sustain, they might be able to pull it through. But if Samuel gets the slightest leads in the early game or mid game, it's going to be so hard for them.
All right, well, it's time to get on into the second game of this quarterfinal. Don't forget to let us know on social media who you want to take this one. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know whether you want Qlash to come back into this one or if you want a 2-0 for Mousesports. It's time to pass it back over once again to Sean Humanisto, or should I call them the Dadcast?
Munch, you just call us whatever you want, buddy. We like you quite a bit. But you're right, we've got Team Qlash versus Mousesports here. Mouse up 1-0 in the series. And Sean, these are pretty strong drafts on both sides. Which one are you preferring?
Oh man, I'm definitely gonna go for Leon on this Idris here. The weapon power Idris, you know, of course it could still potentially be CP, but we do expect it to be weapon power. The dive potential that it has to get to Vox there on the back line, and the CP Blackfeather, it has really good potential, especially with barriers here in 2.9.1 being so important. The dive is going to be very important, and as long as Idris is not getting hit before a few seconds before he does a dive with his Shroud Step, it's going to give him a really solid barrier to protect him in these team fights.
That makes sense. I thought it was also really well put the way Iraqi kind of explained, you know, when Idris is going to dive and get into the back line, once they kind of collapse down, like Samuel with a splash damage seems like he could have a very large effect. I'm curious to see which build Doom goes for specifically in this game.
Yeah, so am I. It looks like he's working towards his double crystal bits. Of course, that could go to any number of things that we have for Samuel. We do see a little bit of a Vanguard coming out here onto Leon. Looks like we're just farming up as per usual.
When would we expect this game to blow open here? I mean, is this a game where they're going to be happy to just farm for a while?
I feel like probably once we get to the level, we already do see I'm the Doom actually hitting level 2, so he's going to have those empowered Malice and Veridix there. That's going to enable him to really get some good range with those things and do a lot of damage, especially that AoE damage that we were talking about. But I feel like we could get to probably mid-game here. I don't know, in the next few minutes or so, we're going to see some action, Humanist.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to kind of play games around the middle area of the map right now, but you can tell both teams not feeling like there's a serious advantage either way, and they're not willing to kind of stick their neck out there. Justman will finally aggro off the Elder Treant. Disowned is watching from the left tri-brush. He moves out. They know he's there. He'll pull the aggro back the other way to go ahead and reset it. It's just a standoff.
Yeah, it's just a standoff right now. We do see Samuel actually picking up a buff this patch. He does have a Corrupted Genius buff, so he gets more heal and gets more energy.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's going to be able to help him with his sustain really well. Looks like Justman is doing a little captain battle there in the bush.
Justman, the best captain battle. Justman's Arden is amazing. I hope I don't cast a curse him here. But I really enjoy this guy's Arden. His gauntlet's usually very strong. We'll look to have some big plays out of this guy here in this game.
Talking about I'm the Doom some more on this Samuel. His Drifting Dark is actually has an up. Oh, what a...
Doom
the
just
Elder
stole the
Triad.
Triad away. Merciless even dropped down to secure it for his team, and he drifted back, fade away. Michael Jordan jump shotted it and stole it.
Yeah, the best thing about Samuel is that fade away that he's got there with those Malice and Verdicts. Oh, it's so good to see him throwing those things when he's got them empowered. But he also has a CP ratio per target, which is up 12% in 2.9.1 as well. So again, he's gotten pretty good buffs, and he could be utilized pretty well here.
I'm excited to see how it's going to play out. On the other side, Agony just happy to farm up Disown, use the healing flask. Leon jumps in, the bright works down. Leon's going to get back. The turret doing pretty good damage. Agony's here. Justman dropping low. Justman, he does not have a healing flask. Justman's in trouble. Leon trying to trade damage, but now is Leon in trouble. Oh my goodness. First blood over to Team Qlash. Leon has to respect the damage coming out. Now I'm the Doom. Has to make a decision. He's going to move up to the lane and try and help his buddy hold this here.
Yeah, Mercilli's actually secured that last kill, the first blood that we saw. Really good, actually. He's got that Blazing Salvo, so that's allowing him to do some pretty good damage per second.
Oblivion on the top side, Drifting Dark. I'm the Doom, just wrecking Disowned. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful, and that allows Disowned to actually go back and buy that fountain. We have still more aggro on this turret here. A little bit of engage, but it looks like they're backing off. Yeah, that was actually a really good trade for Mouse. They were able to push up the wave so well. They got a little bit of about half damage on that turret there. Really well-placed Oblivion in that last fight, Humanist.
Oh, that was so clean, and that was just a really nice early game usage of the Oblivion. We don't always see it come out too often, unless you're looking for a team fight or something like that. But just to see it, like that was sub 5 minutes. He comes out, he pokes Disown, boom, Malice and Verdict, Oblivion is beautiful. Shrouds up forward, Leon trading with Mercillius, gets the Vanguard, moves in. Mercillius taking a lot of damage. The Chakram comes through. Mercillius, he'll get that fountain and uses his own healing flask, I believe, there to keep himself in fighting shape.
Disowned actually picked up a fountain first, right? So we were actually discussing in the last game how prioritizing Crucible and Fountain is often something that we see here for various Lyras. I think Crucible would have been better to prevent those Oblivions from locking them down.
Ooh, Agony, Rose offensive over. Leon did follow him. And that turret dropped the aggro. He's in with a Shimmer Strike. Agony dropping low. He's got a healing flash. Moves back. He's got the on point. Finds the kill. Leon, you went in too deep, buddy. Made a bit of a mistake there. Paid for it. Agony made him pay for it. But I'm the Doom, and Justman will live through this fight.
Yeah, this is kind of a flip from what we saw in the last game. We did see some early aggression coming out from Team Qlash last time. I am excited to see them actually continue to pick up the pace here. And it looks like Agony's down!
I think Agony forgot which side of the map was his, though.
See, he tried to take advantage of... Oh, there's Oblivion.
You're sleeping. It's a nightmare. He doesn't want to wake up from this dream, but it's too late. Mouse find another one. Mouse probably going to take the turret as well here, Sean. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh my goodness. That are we like 100% on the Oblivion so far, Humanist? Because that put him to sleep, and he's taking a space nap right now. Fox is. But he does pick up a poison shiv, so that's going to allow him to sustain a little bit better. Let's hope they pick up some reflex blocks, because we don't see any. Well, we do see one reflex block on Disown, so he's actually working towards Crucible. Ooh, possible game.
Oh, Disown, and he throws the flare, who's point blank, and he's taking too much damage. He's down. Oh, Disown gets wrecked. 3-man on point from Agony. Mercillius is there. Leon, what's Leon going to do? Leon's been pulling the trigger over and over. Agony taking a little poke damage. Vanguard's on I'm the Doom with the Malice, the Verdict. Almost every single one connecting. Leon's wrapping around the backside. Agony, he's in a bad place. Shock him, Shroud Step, and get wrecked. Agony goes down one more time.
Crystal Sentry defeated.
The beautiful rotations and collapse, Humanist. Is Disowned gonna be a victim too?
Disowned, you're a victim to your own decisions. Mercillius, though, maybe bottom enough time. Shimmer Strike over the top. Leon with those beautiful mechanical plays here. Can they dive this? Felt like maybe they could have dived at the fountains there before it over the top. Leon, they already got the fountain, is going to trade it. Mercillius, you got to be careful. Shroud Step right back in. Leon, he went too far. 340 damage. Agony gets him with the on point. Now, is the chase on? You have to assume so. He misses the on point. That's probably going to cancel off the aggression. Nope. Okay, the sigil. On point, 457 damage on a Doom. Healing flask. Gets the Vanguard. Throws the Mouse Verdict down the pipe. The Drifting Dark across the lane. He's going to go ahead and clear this here. I'm pretty sure he's going to go and take all this gold. And you know what? I think it's just based off that situation. That's probably okay.
Yeah, it's probably okay. That was actually a pretty good trade. Overall, we saw a lot of team fights there, but overall, really good for Mousesports. They have a turret down. That's 4 turrets that stand between them and victory today. Humanist, Sorrowblade picked up by Mercilli's on this Fox. That's going to allow him to do some pretty good damage here, along with that Poison Shiv applying those mortal wounds. But Leon and the rest of Mousesports really doing well to just rotate, take the advantages where they can. Whenever they're pushing forward, they rotate down, head into the jungle, and look, there's a perfect example. That wave is pushed up pretty well past the 50-yard line, and we have Mousesports rotating down, putting down some vision, and it looks like there's a Chakram coming out, Bright Bulwark thrown up defensively.
Leon's looking really good on this Idris right now. I gotta tell you, some tasty movements. Now, Leon jumps forward, the Shroud Step, onto Agony immediately. The only thing I've seen wrong is Leon, when he kind of overextended himself, it made it very easy for the Black Feather to chase him down. But let's see how this one plays out. He gets a Vanguard, a Shimmer Strike right into Agony. That's the target they want. The Gauntlet down. Oh, the Sleep on top. Mercilli's, there's nowhere to go. But Leon, he chases into the jungle, buying a moment here for Team Qlash to regather themselves. Shroud Step back here. Leon taking a whole bunch of damage. Arcane Passage, he throws out the Chakram, looking to turn it around. But they have to respect the Drifting Dark Malice and Verdict damage, of which it looks like it bought enough time for Mouse to go ahead and get themselves out of this fight, which very quickly turned into Team Qlash's favor.
It did. They were able to push back on the defensive right there. And it's really too bad that the Oblivion landed and no one was there to follow up. Leon was just too far down into the jungle, and he was going after the other carry. Doing that, there was nobody to take out someone who was fast asleep. We saw them have really good synergy and dynamics earlier in the fight, with Leon just jumping onto whoever was asleep. Same thing with I'm the Doom, but oh man, they need to clean up their gameplay a little bit if they're going to be able to secure this. Broken Myth actually is picked up by Agony. That's going to allow him to just pierce a little bit better here with this CP Blackfeather. And I feel like Team Qlash has got to throw down more vision, you know, like especially in these tri-bushes. Looks like there's an engage.
Leon's trying his darndest to make an engage happen here. I'm the Doom's going to wait the 13-12 seconds there for the Drifting Dark to come back. Right now, Mouse just basically swinging every time they have an opportunity. Agony doing a good job with these on points. Most of them are landing. Shroud Step forward. Agony, a lot of damage. Rose Vincive over the wall. Oh, whoa, the Shimmer Strikes there. Leon was quick on that one. And that is going to be a Crystal Sentry for Mouse as well. Mouse have a very strong control. Now, they can look for a kill. They can look for Goldmine or whatever they want. They're going to wrap around the top side. Qlash know that this is coming. They're going to get the speed boost. Mercilli's actually kind of dipping back there. Nice Scout Trap reveals Qlash's rotation. Leon, he'll take the farm in the lane.
Humanist, do you see what they're doing here? They're actually, this is a very interesting dynamic that we see in between the Vanguard being used by Just Man and the barrier that we already have for Idris when he Shroud Steps in. So when he Shroud Steps in, he actually becomes the focus of the enemy team, and they're going after him, but we actually have I'm the Doom on the back line doing the real damage with all these empowered Malice and Verdicts. He's sitting at 4-0-2 right now, and Leon is just coming in like that.
There's your Shroud Step right there. Agony Rose defensive back. He's into the Sigil. Perfect execution there for Disown. Just have the Sigil waiting for his ally. Flares out. Disown realizes they're in a tough place. And the Bright Bulwark's already been used. Another Rose offensive used defensively. And Just Man, a gauntlet that I'm not used to seeing Just Man kind of throw there. It was very interesting placement of the gauntlet. Whatever the case, these guys still in range to continue fighting if they choose to do so. Chakrams continue to fly out of Leon. He's probably just trying to get the most efficiency out of his weapon infusion, which is level 9 weapon infusion. This is currently on the downside of that timer there. But whatever the case, they don't go down, they get out clean.
They get out clean. Earlier in the game, what we actually saw that was a really clean move from Leon was when he actually Shimmer Striked, grabbing Agony as he rose offensive away. He was not safe. Once he went over the wall, Leon was still there, and it looks like they're actually going to be working on this gold miner now, potentially forcing a fight here.
They've been working all game, Sean. It's your mistake. This does not just work right here for the gold miner. Now they're in. Leon on the Shroud Step. He's moving back. He's on to Agony. This is the target. He's very clear. He wants his Blackfeather. Has he gone too far? He gets a bit of healing. He lets I Am the Doom on the front line. I'm the Doom's out of the Drifting Dark. The Malice did pretty good damage there. These teams just clash up against each other like two tsunamis. Just splash back and reset.
like two tsunamis. We do see Mercillius actually has a breaking point, but I feel like these fights need to go on a little bit longer. There's a lot of engage and disengage that we're actually seeing here. Here at 13 minutes into the game. Once he's able to do some more damage and just stay awake and aware in these team fights, then we're going to see Vox be able to ramp up some serious damage here, Humanist.
Yeah, it's just a very fine line that he's trying to walk, right? I mean, he can't get engaged on, but as long as he starts to get a couple breaking point stacks, it's very easily it just means green light go for him in these fights. We'll see if he can do so. This is a dangerous line to be walking with Leon. Obviously coming online here, very strong. He has the level 12 weapon infusion now, 14 minutes into the game, 6-3 advantage to Mouse. Don, so Qlash actually get caught here. The Vanguard, the Gauntlet comes down, stuns too. A nice heal right over the top side. The second Gauntlet comes through as well. Mouse trying to light Qlash up, doing pretty good so far. Leon, he switches target back over to Disown. Disown with the Arctic Passage. Mercillius takes it on through. He's got a couple breaking point stacks. 14, looking for 15. This is Justman on the backside. Justman's gonna get ripped apart by this weapon box as they lost 2. And I'm the Doom, last man standing for Mouse. Man, that was hard to watch there. But you see, once that Vox gets those breaking point stacks, that's exactly what you were talking about.
Exactly, Humanist, and I'm glad my son made me proud because he was able to stay in the fight longer and he was able to do that. And Disown, we've been talking about the vision and getting ganked so much for them. They actually took that gold mine, and there's a turret too. Well done for Team Qlash, taking advantage and capitalizing on all the kills that they've been taking.
Yeah, that was a very, very good fight, and then, you know, it's not the epic fight in the sense of they were able to get Kraken out of it, but Kraken's on the map now. If they can get another fight like that, this game is completely in their favor.
Check out the net worth. It's actually about, they're only 500 apart right now, but Mousesports, they actually want blood. The vision game is really important right now, Humanist. We do see a lot of vision being picked up by both sides. Disowned needs to take the flares, scout traps, put them all over the map. They need to control this crack in the mid area. Looks like Mousesports could be going around, getting a little bit sneaky, but they're backing off. We do see infusions picked up for both sides on the carries. Looks like that level 12 infusion is burning out for Leon, though. He's going to need to pick some more of that up later on.
I think he was just juking back and forth between lane and shop. I bet you that's what he was deciding. Do I shove this lane one more wave, or I want to buy that? And then the flare comes out from Qlash, and he's like, okay, I definitely know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, it looks like Mercillius is also working towards another Tyrant's or a Tyrant's Monocle. That's going to really give him some serious crit damage in these team fights. So yeah, they're doing really smart prioritization right now with their shielding as well. We do have that Aegis picked up by Mercillius. We know that I'm the Doom has been the main damage dealer, I feel. We've just been seeing Idris Leon here as the guy who's engaging. He's pretty much like a Cruel. This weapon-powered Idris is getting in there. He has the barrier. He's able to do a lot of damage, but then we do see I'm the Doom finishing them off from the backline.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's been playing out thus far, and as long as Leon can kind of stick on a target, he's usually getting the kills. And the moment they're able to peel him off, it seems the fights start going the way of Qlash. Now, about 17 minutes in here, Mouse feeling pretty good. We're going to see Leon look to purchase some items down at the shop here. He goes for the infusion. He gets the Atlas Pauldron as well. So this maybe is a tool that he didn't have before. Do you think this is going to have a large impact in the next fight?
Oh yeah, Humanist. If he's able to Shroud Step in there, Leon's going to be able to activate that Atlas Pauldron. He's going to be able to slow down the damage output that's coming from Mercillius. If he's able to do that, it's going to be slower for him to get those breaking point stacks up, and that could potentially be something that Mousesports uses to their advantage.
There's the Gauntlet. It does stun up Disown, but that's on the front side of the fight. As Leon's there, he's on Agony. He gets the Vanguard, the stun. Oh, Agony! He went right into it. Now Mercillius. Can he get the damage down? He's got a bunch of breaking point stacks, but there's so much healing coming out here from Mouse. Mouse looking great. No, you went too far. You done goof. Doom on the front line. You're not too tanky. Justman goes down. Double kill for Mercillius. Leon, he has to run. It's Disowned Mercillius. Now Disowned, what's, it's 4 seconds before he has a sigil. I was going to say you can give him the movement speed bonus there. Between that and the Sonic Zooms, maybe Leon wouldn't have been able to get away, but Leon gets back. And He actually tries to take the mid camp there. He's not going to get it. Mercedes has got the damage. He's onto him. Leon, no, you made a mistake. That's Leon. Would you let it, Leon?
No, Humanist, what a positional error that we saw from Leon right there. He had the advantage. He was backing off. It looks like Qlash is going to be working on this Kraken now, virtually uncontested. I don't know if they're going to be able to take it. It looks like it's going down pretty slowly. But Leon, he was going he should have went closer to the Crystal Sentry. If he had just gotten closer or past the Crystal Sentry, then he could have been out of visual range. But because he wasn't, this Kraken is going to be on the leash for Qlash.
Forehead fail fish, man. Sometimes you make a mistake. Sometimes that's a mistake that you're going to remember at the end of the day. That one, I'm sure, not feeling very good for Leon. Whatever the case, Kraken has been unleashed. Mr. Ostino will be marching down the lane for Qlash, an ally of Team Qlash. And Mouse, they have all the tools here to take this fight. I think they can take a clean fight, probably defend, lose one turret if they play it super clean. Easy 2 turrets if they make any mistakes here. What's the play? I'm the Doom. Pops that infusion. They start to get a little damage out. Jeffrey Dart's going to move forward, right forward. The Gauntlet comes down, stunning up too. They're going to be looking for him. War Tread, second Gauntlet comes down. Oblivion on the top, but they split apart. This is Disowned, trying to heal up Mercedes. Mercedes is down. He's going to take the Arcane Passage out. Agony is split apart from Disowned. His Mouse chase, 2 to the north, 1 out towards the southwest. Leon's going to actually let him go and move back towards that Kraken, probably. Oh, he collapses back on this zone. They'll take the Lyra. Agony's going to try and be annoying with the poke here, but they move back. This is going to be 2 turrets they lose, trading for 2 kills.
Yeah, really good trade actually here for Qlash. The 2 turrets down, and the Kraken's still pretty healthy, but it is getting melted by Mouse. Wow, if you are Qlash, you need to be able to play really carefully the next few minutes of this game. Just don't give any more of those kills over. They played too far forward, a little too aggressive, I feel. And then once we had those gauntlets come down, they were just trapped and locked up in there. Even though they were disengaging, they split the disengage. We did see them go to one of them go towards the north. We had Disowned in the north, and then Mercedes, Agony went down, and it ended up being a really bad play for them. Really bad positioning.
Yeah, I feel like splitting apart there was... There were reasons why you want to split apart. Obviously, you see the second gauntlet coming down, there's an Oblivion, you're like, just spread! And suddenly there's a wall in the way as well. Mouse really creating a lot of chaos there that they then took advantage of. So I want to give a lot of credit to Mousesports.
Yeah, it turned into a 2v1 up there in the lane, and they were easily able to take out Disowned. He has virtually no damage output as this captain, and a lot of his kit was actually burnt out. So he wasn't able to do very much except for just juke him around as much as possible. But this still could go either way right now. We do have a 4,000 gold lead for Team Qlash at the moment. We've got almost full builds across the board here. It looks like Agony's got to pick up some tier 3 boots there. But Mercili's pretty much full built on this box here. And feeling away that Treant where they can. Just taking the little things away.
Or treads. Gauntlet comes down. 2-man stun there. We're going to look for a second gauntlet soon here. Actually, that was a noise gauntlet that came out onto Justman, but I don't know if it's enough. Agony, he's chasing here. He's on the Eye of the Doom. Leon's dropping low. Mousesports, is this the fight that you actually wanted? They started the fight, and they're going to be losing the fight. Team Qlash turning it all the way
Triple kill.
That's going to be a triple kill with 20 breaking point stacks for Mercili's, and that should be the game. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to game 3.
Really well done, the 20 breaking point stacks from Vox, who's able to just stack up so much. I feel like the engage there from Justman, double gauntlets, the null wave silence, we just saw so many particle effects going everywhere. And now this Vein Crystal is going down. Team Qlash doing some serious work here. Almost the opposite of what happened last game, Humanist. 7-2 with Mercili's on this Vox. I'm astounded, and kudos to Qlash.
Nah. Team Qlash looking very strong here. Mouse was first place last week. They lose game 1 to Mouse. They come back strong. We always say Team Qlash is one of these teams that could beat almost any team on a good day. They are showing it here. Are you surprised at all by the results?
I'm actually surprised, and we saw that the echo from Just Man. Sometimes they were just too hyper aggressive with trying to do those double gauntlets, and that's probably what actually led to their downfall. Really good out of Mercedes here.
Well, we'll see if maybe the aggression backfired on them. Munchables, Iraqi, Tasty Bacon, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. What a game coming out from Qlash. We have a series on our hands. Honestly, Mouse looked strong in the early game, but once things started to get later and later, it felt like they were less coordinated, couldn't really put things together, and we have a 1-1 tie in Qlash, upsetting the apple cart right here.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a surprise. I mean, coming into this one, we were in agreement that Mousesports had a superior draft, but they just didn't execute it at all. Like, they didn't. We were talking about how, Qlash doesn't want to get into a poke war with Mousesports. Mousesports didn't even try and get into a poke war with them. Mousesports was like trying to hard engage every fight, and that's not what their composition was ideally looking to do.
I mean, I would disagree. I think it ideally for engage, it's just they were doing it incorrectly. They were over-aggressing in the wrong areas, under the turrets, under the crystal sentries, and that's why they were losing. I mean, we saw in the first game, they got very overzealous. It seems like this second game, they were doing the same thing. And Mousesports is the first team that, finished first last weekend, beating SK 2-0 in such a dominant style. Now going against the last place team in the region, and they're losing. This is not good for them.
But that's what you said about where they engaged and things like that. That's what I'm talking about too. Like that, those are the times when they could just sit back and poke. They had this composition that was going to be able to out-poke their opponents, but they just never chose to try and go for that poke siege type style.
Let's take a look at some of the moments in the game, and we'll analyze it a little bit deeper. The first moment around 6 minutes into the game, Mouse got off to a good start. They were the ones in control to start things off.
Yeah, I mean, they really were. Like, they started getting kills, and later on, a little bit later, they get this one kill. They go up to the lane, they get another kill, then they get the first turret. And this was great for them because they chose to fight just before Blackfeather got his level 8. So Blackfeather had not hit his power spike yet, so they capitalized very well. You can see here they're going to take the turret. Mousesports did a good job at this point of the game. From here on, though, I felt like they got a little bit overconfident. They started going for team fights that they shouldn't have picked.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can take a look at the next fight that came on, or not the next fight in the game, but just a bit later on into the game. This is when Qlash started to really take control.
Yeah, and again, this is one of the situations where they could have sat back a bit, but they saw an opportunity, they thought they had it, they went in deep, but they weren't quite able to take down Mercedes. Mercedes surviving so long, this Crystal Sentry slowing Leon constantly, keeping him on the backline so he wasn't able to make that dive forward like he wanted to go after this Vox, and all of a sudden Mercedes turns this fight around for his team. A great play out of Mercedes. I think that's one thing that we're talking a lot about, Qlash and where they should or shouldn't have fought. Mercedes and the rest of Qlash did a phenomenal job, especially Mercedes and Disowned. Like, these two together were working so well to be able to turn these fights around.
I mean, indeed, and we talked about how Qlash didn't have a frontliner to block the Samuel damage. If you're fighting around the Crystal Sentry, he'll do that for you. So it's just a bad choice for Mousesports to fight around the Crystal Sentry.
We saw Crystal Sentries doing work last week with TSM when FlashX was on the Churn Walker just melting health bars. Let's take a look at the next fight as well, because this was Qlash when they were in control of the game, kind of overextending.
Yeah, this was a little bit later. They got the Kraken. They were overextended a little bit. But here, they don't have a Crystal Sentry. They don't have another turret. So the initiation and the engage coming from Mousesports will work for them. They were able to close the gap, able to take down Vox. Vox had a 4 offensive item. Even the last replay, we saw him be able to ramp up so much damage because of the breaking point, because of the TT that does so much crit damage. Solar Blade, Poison Shift. I like the Poison Shift pickup also just because it reduces the Vanguard barrier that comes out from Arden given to his teammates. So the Vox did very well. It's just bad choice to fight away from those objectives that can protect you.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, we saw, even though Mouse defends the Kraken right there, they keep themselves alive. The next team fight did not favor Mouse. This was Qlash managing to clean things up. They get the ace and they end the game.
Yeah, and this is just another one of those situations where Mouse, they went so aggressive. All of a sudden, you have this double gauntlet coming out, and both of them immediately just getting dropped. The first gauntlet, when Justman used the second gauntlet, it ended the first one. And then he was so far away from his team that he had to go back to the Vanguard, which ended the second gauntlet. So both of those gauntlets ended up having almost no effect on the team fight. And Qlash were able to freely maneuver around this fight.
Absolutely. That team fight also, there was a lot of split target focus coming from Mousesports. they didn't focus the same target. Idris dove on the Vox while Samuel had to kite away the Blackfeather, so their damage was split across multiple targets, and in that situation, Vox will come out ahead because of his breaking point that ramps up so much damage. I gotta talk about also, why is there no Dragon's Eye? It's such a good item, especially in these situations where teamfights are going on for 8, 10 seconds and even longer. Had Samuel had one, maybe his damage would have ramped up the same way Vox's damage did, but we just didn't see it.
And this is what we were talking about last week when we first saw these items. The fact that Broken Myth doesn't have that passive anymore can really hurt some of these builds. Now, this is the damage coming on through. You can see that the Samuel was doing a lot of damage, the most damage in the game, but at the end of the day, your damage doesn't matter if you can't finish off those targets.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the big keys is doing a ton of damage versus where the damage is getting focused. You know, you look at Mercillius, his damage is primarily on one target when it's coming out. Samuel, his damage is getting split up amongst all three. So, yes, it's a large number, but it's not as impactful as the other two carries. And, you know, I want to go back to these builds as well. The Vox build, I love this build, going for the breaking point, letting the sacks build up because they recognize these fights are lasting a long time. Whereas you look over at Leon's build on this Idris, only 2 offensive items completed, and that was one of the big reasons. You know, he had a lot of damage dealt in comparison to the Vox, but just wasn't able to secure the kills.
Absolutely. Now, we need to get on into this next draft. We need to start to talk about what we're going to see in game number 3 here. We're going to a full 3-game series. We've seen a Samuel. We've seen CP Gwen. It's like, how are they going to finish out the compositions this time around?
I was going to say the Blackfeather is too high of a priority to give away to an opponent for the side of Mousesports. Now they get it on their end. First pick it, Qlash. I think that was a mistake letting it through, but at the same time, they had to ban away the Rhyme because he don't want to give that to Amdadoom.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a really tough situation. It's almost one of these spots where you have to consider not banning either of them and just take, say, okay, you can have the Blackfeather or the Rhyme. We're going to go ahead and get the other one. I feel like that's where this is going to end up evolving to, because teams are just going to start doing things like banning the Krull first and forcing this decision.
This could be a Baron that comes out here as well, just because Qlash managed to grab Lyra and Vox for themselves. It's a very strong composition because there's a lot of sustain, and the Vox, like we talked last game during the draft, it works very well against Blackfeather because you can kite him away, you can say sustain against him. But Mousesports says, we don't care, we're going to go for the Baptiste Catherine. They do have it open. No one noticed that it got through. Now they pick it up. That's so much CC that comes with that composition, so much lockdown. However, it's still against the Vox, who can kite and stack his breaking point.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We're going to be seeing this combo get through more frequently now because of the fact that there are other priorities in the bans. And so it'll be interesting to see if it kind of returns to the prominence that we used to see, where it was every single time it was open, it got picked up. I'm not sure if it's still considered quite as strong, just because teams have gotten a little bit better at choosing which of the abilities to reflex block and things like that, but it is still an incredibly strong lockdown combo.
Sky would be an amazing pick here. Works really well against Catherine, works really well against Baptiste and the Blackfeather. Sky is one of the heroes that we've been seeing a lot of in the EA meta and the EA region in 2.9, especially if you pick up a Clockwork, you're able to reset your abilities so easily. However, in EU, no one has been picking it up, not really, so they go for the Samuel instead. I mean, it serves the same purpose. You're using your range, you're keeping your distance, and you're trying to kite away when Baptiste and Catherine will try to engage on you. It's just Samuel has less mobility than Sky, so I think it's not going to work as well for them.
All right, we'll see if this can work out for them. It feels like kind of a classic Siege composition, honestly, out of Qlash here. If you swap the Vox with the Kestrel, this is the Siege composition that we often see. How are we expecting this game to play out? Is Mouse at an advantage here? Is Qlash at an advantage? Who do we expect to be on top?
I still give a slight advantage over to Mouse just because of the Catherine Baptiste, the amount of lockdown that comes through. They're very reliant on their abilities, on being able to actually use their abilities, especially as Samuel. If Samuel gets silenced and gets stuck in that silence chain, he doesn't do damage. So it's a very real potential that Mousesports can just completely lock down the side of Qlash.
At the same time as well, though, they have to engage and they have to dive on the back line of Qlash. So if they choose to fight in the wrong areas, it's going to end up being the same as last game, where things can turn really badly for them.
Absolutely. It's time to get on into this one. It's game number 3 of our quarterfinals. Hashtag Vainglory8 on Twitter. Let us know who you are supporting. It's time to find out who will win this series and pass it back over once again to the Daddy Casters.
I mean, Munchables, don't you want to know who I'm supporting? Well, you always ask in the chat. You're always asking social media. But, you know, I got this guy, Sean Ostino, here. He knows who I'm supporting, but we won't say because we're not #biased casters. But this is going to be a great game 3 here if the first 2 games have anything to do with it. What do you think, Sean? What do you like about these drafts? What do you not like?
Well, Humanist, I do like that Vox has a 100% win rate so far today, so that's really keeping me happy. Marcili's here on this Vox. I'm actually rooting for Qlash right now. I'm going for the underdogs here.
Really?
So I could be a little bit skewed, a little bit biased.
Well, you're not going to be a winner either. I'm calling this one. I believe Mouse will take this game at approximately 17 minutes. 17 minutes, 27 seconds with a score of 15-9. A little bit of poking early on here. Agony's happy to do so with that Corrupted Genius. Heals himself right back up. We saw the power last game of that Corrupted Genius as far as the regeneration and sustainability.
Yeah, we did see a lot of that regeneration sustainability. But this is going to be a really interesting game because we do see a siege composition coming out here from Qlash. So if they're able to just stay back, you know, not let Mousesports dive too far to get onto them, if we have right bulwarks come out at the right time from Disowned, that could prevent a lot of the engage from Leon especially, or even from Just Man coming down. We need to, I think I would like to see a Crucible coming out first for Disowned as opposed to a Fountain. That way we can get we can have those blocks come up early versus the silences that will be coming out from Just Man.
I think that is the smartest thing I've ever heard you say. That is such a good idea here. I mean, if you look at there's so many things you want to block in this game. And of course, obviously the Lyra scaling well with that item. It just makes sense here.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Her base health
Doom
actually scales up. Oh, Doom's going pretty
Drifting
low.
Dark. He's going to use his boots and probably get out of here. The Drifting Dark, the Malice Inverted catches him. Corrupted Genius, Healing Flask out of Doom. He's going to throw the Malice. What's the verdict? He gets ordained. Now Just Man finds his stun, but he's out of the turret. Aggro range right there. Lucky for him, he probably would have gone down with that double stun coming through. But a nice rotation early from Agony and Disowned.
Yeah, nice rotation from him, able to put that pressure in the jungle, but also a nice rotation from Just Man, because if he didn't have that stun there, I would have seen I'm the Doom actually going down in that fight, and First Blood would have gone over to Team Qlash. And as Mousesports, you don't want that to happen right now. You want to be able to snowball this game. So far, we don't see that much of a snowball, and it looks like Team Qlash is going to be putting some pressure on this Elder Treant, taking it for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they just pretty much swarm all over that Elder Treant. Right now, it does feel like Disowned and Agony have a lot more firepower at their fingertips, ready to go in the early game than on the flip side for Mouse. And is it just the Mouse need levels to really come online here? What is it?
I feel like Mouse does need levels. We do need to see Leon actually hitting that level 6 power spike as his Black Feather, because that way he's going to have his Rose offensive. He's going to be able to engage, get to the back line so much easier. There's a lot of pressure being put on this turret right now.
Ordained is down, the Merciless Pursuit as well, but no one wants to follow on Disowned except for I'm the Doom. The Bad Mojo chunking him out pretty well there. You can see the Reap Sustain also doing well for I'm the Doom. Just Man hanging around. He'll go ahead and recall back home, but yeah, I mean, they're trying for the engage, just not quite landing it.
Yeah, they're not quite landing it. We do see some vision actually picked up by Just Man. Going to have to prevent some of those ganks.
That's siege, man.
Woo!
There's that siege you talked about right there. Look at that. Turret's almost down. We're 4 minutes in. The jungle just got intense. Mr. Sean Ostino and Qlasher. Honestly, they could almost take this turret down and then just drop right to shop.
Yeah, they definitely could do that. That would be a good rotation out of them, but they're falling back.
They're really falling back, aren't they? Merciless, they turned it around. Leon taking a lot of damage. This is kind of just like, you know, the hokey pokey here. One foot in, 1 foot out. What's the play? Waiting for someone to fully commit to this fight. Just Man, he finds a stun onto Disowned. Disowned, I think, ordained as well. Merciless, he moves in. Leon, he gets the on point. Oh, it's enough. One more attack would have taken him down. These guys. Woo! Oh, they're just playing right on the edge. Disowned throwing that sigil forward, looking for maybe a cheeky kill. Doesn't find one.
Those candied minions actually they kind of concerned me a little bit, but they didn't do too much work here, and Team Qlash was able to take that turret. Very good capitalization on that objective, because we actually had them rotate down. Agony went into the jungle, cleaned out the mid and the fronts there, The Team Qlash needs to take every objective where they can and every little bit of gold and experience, steal it away from Mousesports, and that's how they're going to be winning this. We do see an Eve of Harvest picked up by Agony, and that's going to allow him for some better sustain here. Shatterglass picked up by I'm the Doom. He's going to be able to do some really good damage with these bad mojos. He's going to be able to just empowered bad mojos reap the souls of his enemies.
That sounds very delicious. And we'll see what's going to happen here for the Scarecrow. Just throwing his bad mojos from max range. He's got that Shatterglass, as Sean said, and he's in a pretty good place to start doing some great damage if he's empowered up. Now, the thing is, he also has that Fearsome Shade, and Qlash should have an idea that he has this ability. Ordained down. It's going to stun up Disowned. And this is Mouse just kind of poking and prodding around the edges, maybe looking for an opening. And Agony's going to look to dissuade them by throwing the Drifting Dark, moving forward to the Merciless Pursuit's there. They're going to move. They run right into that Drifting Dark, something you can do sometimes. Wait for it, over the top. Oblivion's going to go down. I'm the Doom. Actually, it looked like it clipped him on the edge, but not quite there. Bright works down defensively. A game of cat and mouse. Leon Rose offensive backwards, as he looks to just go ahead and kite this one out for a second. Justman, he's back in business. And he dropped, you notice he dropped out of that fight. He went and picked up a fountain there.
Yeah, picked up a fountain. That's a really good idea there. Look at those bad mojos, Humanist, that were just hitting 466 damage. That's so strong right now. If he's able, I think the only problem that I'm the Doom has right now is his energy sustain. He's not able to stay in these fights have been going pretty long, so he's not able to stay and continuously throw those things out. If he's able to do that right now with that 466 damage, imagine what he's going to be doing later on.
I don't want to.
No, I don't want to. This Scarecrow is going to be very scary, very fearsome.
It's a very scary crow.
Merciless does have a Sorrow Blade as well. Looks like he's working towards a Poison Shiv too. He's got that couple items, Blazing Salvo there, and that Barbed Needle. So it's going to allow him for some sustain as well. We got the sustain game going on here for Team Qlash. And they are about 1.8 thousand ahead. It's looking pretty good for them right now.
The sustain game. I guess they're both playing the same game. The Vayne game. Flares come out. Yeah?
Oh, I was going to say Disowned actually is working towards that Crucible as well, and we know how important this Crucible is going to be in blocking those Fearsome Shades and the Ordains too. We've already seen him get stunned up a couple of times by Ordains. So as a captain, yeah, we have, and as a captain, you do not want to get stunned up because you have a lot of utility for your team. We do see a Poison Shiv picked up by Leon. The sustain game is real, and it's in action right now, Humanist.
Someone's about to get wrecked, Sean. I can feel it in my Vainglory bones. Look at this. We got a Blast Trimmer, a Fearsome Shade. Mouse are hungry. This team doesn't like to just sit back. Leon doesn't like to play 8 minutes without finding a kill. Now they find the target, maybe. Merciless Pursuit goes defensive over the top. Blast Trimmer blocked off there. Fearsome Shade will not be blocked, but you're making your opponents run further away. Merciless, he's on to I'm the Doom. I'm the Doom out to the west, goes defensive over towards New York City, and Leon's gonna be okay as he gets out of here with the on point. Open an arcane passage, maybe to close the gap. Leon, he moves right back in, and he's with Justman. He's gonna stand his ground, holding hands with his ally, but then they split apart one more time. I don't know what you guys are doing. He runs right into the Crystal Sentry, gets dropped. And Mouse are gonna get those every single hero. It's not the aces. I'm the Doom. Respawn timers are not too long right now. 9 minutes in, suddenly Qlash up 3-0.
If that Rose Offensive was in New York, then that Oblivion that came up from Agony was in Florida because it was way down here, but it must have been a zoning tool, or even if it missed, it still worked out to their advantage because they were able to capitalize on that and almost get an ace right there. It looks like this gold miner is going to be the just desserts that Team Qlash needs, and that's going to allow them to increase their lead here. Immense gold payout. 1,200 gold going over to Team Qlash, and they're sitting at about a 3,000 gold lead actually right now. 0-3 in their favor. Things are looking pretty good for Team Qlash.
Qlash looking good, man. Oh, feels good to see this team start to gain a little bit of traction, but this is Scary Mousesports lineup that's starting to bear down onto your first turret here as their items becoming complete. They're getting nice levels on all heroes across the board. I'm curious to see what Justman's going to go into for his next time. Is that going to be a null wave gauntlet there for Justman?
It looks like it could be. He's building into that chronograph. He's got, looks like he picked up the Nullwave Gauntlet. Oh, good prediction, Humanist. The Prophet himself. That's going to allow him to get some good cooldown reduction. And as well as that item silence. It's a 4-second item silence. So once he's able to throw that down onto Disown, that's going to be a really big hindrance on his abilities, especially with that Crucible that they need to reflex block Ordained and Fearsome Shades, and even the Blast Tremor that's going to be coming out. Sentry defeated. That's taken by Mousesports. They need to take every advantage where they can get right now because they're playing on the back foot.
Yeah, Mercili's really shoving the lane super hard, while Agony kind of kept tabs on Mouse there while they took the Crystal Sentry. So interesting movements, but obviously that's a very clean shot call coming out of Qlash. That kind of thing doesn't just happen by accident. Like you know that this is happening, but when you see clean movements like that, it does give you an idea that they're playing with a high strategy level.
They are playing with a high strategy level right now. The Dragon's Eye, as I mentioned earlier, it's picked up by Agony. That's going to allow him for some really good ramping up of damage. Unfortunately, you do lose your stacks pretty quickly every 2 seconds if you're not in combat with the enemy dealing damage. But it can still really ramp up. If you look at 2 items, we actually there's actually a really good video that came out. If you have Aftershock on some heroes, some junglers, and you have Dragon's Eye, it can actually outperform Broken Myth. But it looks like there's an engage here.
Looks like there's some poke gauge happening here. Not quite the full engage. The Reap doing work for I'm the Doom Corrupted Genius doing work for Agony. As both teams just kind of take shots at each other around the edges, looking for an opening. They won't find one. This is both teams just kind of dropping down, picking up a whole bunch of flares. You talked about it. This is the sustain game, but it's also the vision game. Very important here.
Yeah, it is also the vision game, Humanist. They're sitting in that bush, and there's flares coming out everywhere. I'm the Doom. Oh, it looks like we have Leon diving in.
Leon's deep. He's onto Disowned. His teammates really not sure of what to do as Leon pretty much single-handedly taking this fight on by himself. Ordained is there. Blast Trimmer over the wall. Fearsome Shade as well. Team Qlash being forced back against the wall. Mouse have made the call to go, but haven't gone too far. They're on the retreat now. Another Ordained comes out on the Mercilius. He stands his ground. Mercilius doing well. 13 breaking point stacks. Looking to chase down the target. He's going to find one. Now looking for more. Don't get trolled by the Arcane Passage. Disowned. You almost pulled a Humanist, man. Mercilius chasing him. Mouse incredibly low. Faint of Heart will get Leon. Leon! No! Leon! Oh, Leon, did he? Please don't do the same thing that happened last game where he hung around too long. Leon. Team Qlash are in hot pursuit. The Mouse and Verdict bearing down on their heels. Just Man will go down to one more attack. The Nullwave Gauntlet coming out from Just Man.
Is he going to survive?
Maybe. I don't know. They both get out of it. Oh, man, this is ridiculous.
Oh man, what? That was so ridiculous.
Don't hang around too long.
Oh my god.
I'm so
Oh, Humanist, they're going to be porting back now. But it looks like Agony's caught out of position.
But this is my Ordained. Leon on point. Leon's there. He's going to get all of these attacks down and should be able to take him out. Yes, he does. Mercilius, though. Mercilius getting nice breaking point stacks, stand his ground. A nice block on that Fearsome Shade. This is such a good job by the Doom and Leon to juggle that damage there. Just Man coming in at the last second for his team. This could be a gold miner, though. They're going to hang around. Disown knows what's happening. Mercilius is going to move back. I think he took the mid. He's going to get a little bit of regeneration there. What's the play? Look at Mercilius moving up. He's going to throw the wave forward over the top. He just got the infusion from the shop. Ordained stunned up. He's going to be able to get Just Man. He gets one. Can he get the damage? They're trading. Mercilius dropping low. He got the healing coming out. Can he take the Doom down? Yes, he can. Mercilius is done, and now they chase down Leon. Mercilius! Oh, Mercilius! Triple kill coming through.
Mercilius the Merciless. Humanist. The triple kill coming out from him. He was taken out during the previous team fight. Looks like that turret's actually going down. They're working on this choke point turret next. But when he went down, he went fast asleep, took a dirt nap for a little bit. He came back. And because he came back, they won that last team fight. He was able to stack up so many breaking point stacks. And look at his itemization. He's got Sorrow Blade, Poison Shiv, the breaking point, of course. He is able to sustain so much. And that's why they won that last team fight. It was really good
rotations. You see this replay here, Sean? We got this little replay going right now. We're just kind of
we're looking. Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, he gets that stun early on here. A nice lockdown. But this is crazy how low Mercilius actually gets. It's just a matter of continuously applying that damage, stacking the breaking point down, and dip, diving, dodging, and ducking around Mercilius. Incredible play right there.
Yes. What a merciless Vox we're seeing here in the lane, Humanist. He's working towards a 4th damage item now. Working towards he's got that lucky strike there. He's going to be getting himself a Tyrant's Monocle pretty soon. They just got to keep snowballing like they are doing here. We're sitting at 1-7 right now. Team Qlash doing some serious work. Still at about a 5,000 gold lead.
I'd like to see the numbers of like how many people were predicting Team Qlash would win this series versus how many people were for Mousesports, because I bet it was very heavily skewed towards Mouse. Now Mercili's getting lit up by Leon here. Rose Offensive's gonna miss there, but he was already taking a lot of damage. Leon, interesting that he was playing games there. He's not even infused, and he was by himself. Well, he's moving back the other way. Agony. Blast Tremor's gonna come down. Does silence out 3. Interesting. And then he just went ahead, he echoed it right off the back of that. So I guess that's kind of a missed opportunity there, but maybe this is Just Man with the next level bait.
Yeah, it could be. He's sitting on a 70-second cooldown on that Null Wave Gauntlet. He does have his Blast Tremor available again, so he could engage another team fight. Hey, we got a Null Wave Gauntlet coming out for Disowned as well. So it looks like the battle of the Null Waves here between the captains. Whoever can get the item silence off at the pivotal time is going to probably win this next team fight. Infusions being picked up across the board. Popped for I'm the Doom and Agony. I'm the Doom's actually sitting on level 11 infusion. There's an engage.
Oh, nice block on the stun there. Ordained will come through. Mercili's just Sonic zooming himself backwards there, very quickly finding himself in danger as he looked to apply a bit of damage onto Leon.
Sitting here at 16:45 in the match, we need to have a lot of vision coming down for Mousesports. They don't have too much in the middle there. And that's what's really important in Humanist, because we have the Kraken sitting there. That's a major objective, and it looks like the item silence actually came out onto Disowned, but they're going to continue to aggress into the jungle.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing to block. There's no wait for it coming through, nothing else. Oh, what's going to happen here? They're going to lose Just Man off the bat. He did throw the foul now. Now the fight is on. Qlash, the full engaged. Leon, he knows that he has to make the hero play. A Rose defensive out of there. Yeah, I said Rose defensive. They go for the Crystal Sentry. Agony trying to just catch him with the tip with that Malice and Verdict. Just not enough range there. Leon, I'm the Doom, able to squirt their way out of that situation. But Crystal Sentry goes down, and Team Qlash find another one.
Team Qlash taking advantage of the trade right now. This Kraken's going down pretty quickly. As you know, Humanist, the Kraken is easier to take now while she is neutral, but once she's on the leash for whatever team it is, she's got more HP, she's going to be harder to take, and Lyra secures that for them. Team Qlash has got Kraken, and they're ready to push the last 2 turrets.
Team Qlash. Oh, just in here, just shaking up prediction, shaking up EU. Leon, looks like Leon is really ready to fight here. Interesting situation, Leon. You're very low on health. So is Mercili's, but I mean, I'd rather have one go down on my team, traded 1 for 1 if we have a Kraken pushing. Let's see how this is going to play out now. Ordained stuns Agony. I'm the Doom. That's his second Fearsome Shade, I believe that was. Either the chase is on. Mercili's very low. Leon is the first to lose. They traded for 1 for 1. And they turned it around the other way. The chase will be on, but remember we have that Kraken on, passing the choke point turret right about now. And this is the siege composition that you talked about earlier. They should be able to get pretty decent poke damage out from the Lyra and the Samuel here.
Yeah, they should be able to. However, they've got to be really careful here. He's got those empowered attacks. Stun!
Stun! Mammoth Verdict Bright Bulwark. All right, looks like at the end of this, 1 turret will be remaining. And the 2 of Mouse should be able to take this Kraken down. But I mean, Qlash are in a really good position right now.
They are in a really good position. And if you look at Agony too, he's actually got Dragon's Eye. I'm not sure if he picked that up before or after these series of events, but that's going to be doing some serious work for him. We do see infusions picked up, rather. It's in the pocket for I'm the Doom. He's picked up Broken Myth as well. So hopefully that's going to allow him to bypass some of this these Aegis shieldings that we have here for the side of Qlash. But this is a really dangerous situation for Mousesports right now. If they're able to survive the next team fight, they're still going to have to push 5 turrets. All 5 turrets are up right now, and we do have about a 4,500 gold lead for Team Qlash at the moment.
5 turrets, easy peasy. Let's see what Mouse can do here. Maybe Mouse just training for the hardest games, putting their backs against the wall, and then coming back with the epic wins. I'm the Doom poking here. Bad Mojo's just coming out consistently. He's guy's like a little turret himself. Every time you walk within range, boom, Bad Mojo connects. What's the chase now? Justman moves forward. Stormguard timed out. He finds the stun on the Mercedes. A nice block on the Blast Trimmers. They move right back into their half of the jungle. They're happy to do so. They have the positioning advantage. Both of these teams just flares moving out. Uh-oh, Agony potentially caught out here. A nice block on the second Blast Trimmer. The kite back. Leon, Rose offensive over the top side. He wants Mercedes. The fearsome shade destroying Team Qlash. This is Mousesports' fight to come back on. It looks like Leon can get the on point. Yes, he can. He's on to Agony. A couple more basics should be able to take him down. Disown doing his best to keep his allies alive. They're almost dropping, but if they can find that kill, they're going to get the ace regeneration and live through this. A double kill. The ace comes through for Mousesports, and they have done it, Sean. They find the epic fight that they needed.
That is exactly what they needed to do, Humanist. Crystal Sentry defeated, 1 life remaining. Turret! The first turret's destroyed finally for them. Woo, they're going to be able to push this a little bit. And Kraken is up too, so this is a really good opportunity for Mousesports to continue the onslaught. There goes the second turret, actually, thanks to Leon. And what actually went really well for Mousesports right there is they finally feared them somewhere other than to just completely make the enemy run away. They feared them into the wall in the jungle, and that's why that team fight went so well for Mousesports.
That fight was so... Like, the moment... Exactly what you said. The moment... Because they blocked the Blast Trimmer. I think they blocked, like, 2 Blast Trimmers coming out there.
Kill.
At least individual Aegis's or reflexes, and then one was Crucible, but... That when you see that fearsome shade catch them into the wall, that was the moment you knew that Mouse absolutely had this fight. Leon was locked on like a tick onto his targets here. Wow, Mouse in a very good position. They have the Kraken. If they play this could be Mouse taking the game here. That would feel pretty troll from Qlash. Crystal Sentry is going to move out. Crystal Sentry now, are you going to work for a Qlash here? Yeah, Crystal Sentry making it happen. Kraken slapping on this choke point turret here. Mouse just kind of trying to poke from range, but Batiste doesn't have huge range. And the Black Feather as well. Interesting situation. Blast Trimmer, it connected. I think he's actually still holding the null wave there, so that was just straight up Blast Trimmer.
Yeah, just straight up the Blast Tremor. I'm actually surprised we didn't see any null. We did see actually the null wave pop by Disown, but we didn't see the null wave pop by Justman. So he's saving that for another time. Woo, that turret doesn't go down, so we have 2 turrets remaining. Contraption picked up by Justman. That's going to enhance his cooldown reduction. Atlas Pauldron Infusion picked up. And Disowned, maybe he's looking for a little bit of those really good Arcane Passage Bulwark Atlas Pauldron combo engages. If he does that, that's going to be a beautiful thing. What's actually interesting though is that Leon wants to dive them as this weapon-powered Blackfeather, so he's not going to be hanging back too much. So maybe once he comes to them, he can throw down the Atlas Pauldron. But it's still a very delicate situation. A lot of vision in the jungle for Mousesports right now. Really good vision control, throwing out those flares everywhere. And it looks like Team Qlash has got to be really careful not to get caught out there. So you saw Leon actually aggressing towards Disowned once he saw that he was coming back.
Yeah, Leon has been incredibly aggressive this entire game. I mean, this entire series. He really had more than usual. Disown, and he throws a flare every time he's so close to the brush now. War treads in by Justman. Leon with the faint of heart on point there. They blocked off, I think, the first blast Timber coming through, but the stun from the Ordained catches on to Disown. Second Rose offensive over the top side. Leon taking a lot of damage, and Team Qlash potentially turn this around. Item silence coming out very late in that fight there. You can see it on Disowned as Team Qlash now chase back towards Mousesports. Fearsome Shade on cooldown. Blast Trimmer on cooldown. They have the Echo ready to go for Catherine. Maybe they can get like a double stun or something like that. Disown taking a whole bunch of damage. Ordained sitting right there. He's going to go ahead and Crucible. Fountain moving backward. Mercedes is completely caught. That Fearsome Shade wrecked right on through. They're going to lose actually Agony as well. Yeah, Agony. He's going to go down. What a play by Leon and the gang. I'm the Doom. Perfect Fearsome Shade. Justman, great control of the fights. And that is the ace for Mousesports. And well, that's the game.
That's the game right there, Humanist. What actually was a pivotal role in that last team fight too is we saw Disowned run out of flares. He was checking, he was forced to face check the tri-bush there on their side of the jungle. And doing so, he didn't see that they were on the other side of the tri-bush near the jungle. They were coming back, and therefore it ended up being a snowball. This crystal is going down, and Mousesports takes the game, takes the series.
Mousesports takes the game and the series. I was joking around a little bit when I said easy peasy. That is no easy task to come back in a game like this. Your opponent's got 5 turrets up. What did they have? 1 turret remaining? They were on the back foot. Qlash playing incredibly well. Mousesports they really know how to put it together when it matters.
Yeah, they do. It feels bad, man, that Mercilli's on this Vox, my boy, ended up losing, and that puts Vox's win rate down for the day. But still happy for witnessing this game, and it was pretty fun to see Mousesports take it away.
Yeah. Well, speaking of take it away, Munchables, my darling.
Thank you very much, babe. We are going to get into the analysis of that. That was really weird. Let's talk about the fact that Mouse managed to take this series. It was not an easy series for them. Right from the word go, we saw Qlash were actually the ones in charge of this game. Qlash, honestly, for the majority, they felt like they were going to win this one. It was only right